Hello, once again. Welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. We are continuing coverage of Santa Anita Park, and the San Felipe Stakes is ready to rock. I got a preview video out for that. That video was done before the entries were drawn in post positions and all that. So some in, some out. Uh, I'll do another probably brief video updating everything toward the end of the week with the pick five and all that kind of good stuff. But this is the Santa Anita Handicap, and this is a classic 10 furlong race, mile and a quarter, like the Kentucky Derby, like the Breeders' Cup Classic. We have some classic type horses in here, horses that would have pointed to the Saudi Cup last week, actually decided to skip the trip and come here and race against each other in America, help out California racing, which this will give it a little bit of a boost, no doubt. So we're going to get into the horses, the past performances, some race replays, come up with some picks. So we'll get to that in just a second. Check the description of the video. There is a link now to sign up for the Derby 151 contest. I am working on sponsorship. I haven't heard back yet, but we're going through compliance and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that comes through. If not, I actually have some other things that I have, like I was mentioning, Derby swag and different things. And in addition to that, and I came across in the archives there of some storage. My grandmother used to collect them. My mom used to collect them, Derby glasses. I have got an entire tub full of Derby glasses, and I got no idea what years they are or anything like that. There's some really old ones, probably some of value. So I'm going to be going through them all and documenting everything and making like a sheet for, anyway, for maybe eventually selling off a few things down the road. So giveaway too to some lucky subscribers. Anybody that's going to win anything from Billy Ho, please be subscribed to the channel. Be smashing that like and leaving comments. I love, even I forgot the person's name, but it's very kind of them to just leave a comment. They just leave a couple of emojis on there, like horse race and let's go. So just something like that just means a lot, really. And some good constructive criticism is always good too. I got thick skin. I can take it. So if there's things that you're looking for, one guy mentioned he liked time form. I might be looking in. I've been doing Brisnet because that's what I pull off Twin Spires of my account. So I just haven't dug into pulling up or paying for any other different sheets. And I like Brisnet past performances. I like the comments. I like the pace ratings. I like the speed ratings. They've been good to me. So I'm going to stick with that for now, but I'm going to look into doing time form. I need to learn a lot more about them. I know somewhat what time form does, but people do swear by it. So we'll look into that. But anyway, thumbs up, subscribe, notifications, all that kind of good stuff. Leave me a comment who you got in this race. That's a big one. Or exacta, or your best bet for the race. What do you think is going to be the most profitable way to play the race? Let's go. Get into the past performances. I'm getting excited. All right, like I said, 1 mile and a quarter, the Santa Anita Handicap. Now, if you're a novice, handicaps are different. They are weights assigned. It says Sunday, February 23rd. So there is usually something in here where you see this. This is the weight of the horse. So it's going to be, they're going to be allotted relief, I guess, like New King's 115 pounds. That's 5 pounds lighter. So he's carrying 5 pounds less. Now, normally when I pay attention to this is when it gets more than 5. If it's close to 10 pounds, 5 pounds is not that big a deal to make up for on a 2,000 pound horse. Like he's carrying 124, so that's 9. That's a big difference. But New King is like a newbie, so he needs a little compensation. 119. I just kind of want to peruse through here. Miramati getting 116. That's pretty good relief for him. 121. 124 for Locked. You can see 116 for Midnight Mammoth. So let's head back up to the top. We're starting with Choo Choo Express Train, baby, which is really slowing down, pulling into the gate here for the Grand Central Station, because I really liked them coming out of the Kona Gold after making the comeback from the 18-month layoff. Ran third there, and then the San Diego was when I took notice, where he was really in there, split foes, and he just kind of flattened out down the stretch, but you could see the trend developing here. So that was a good race, San Diego Handicap. Then he went to the Lafitte Pin Kai. He ran fourth. He was down the stretch once again with them, and then faded. No late kick. JB Strikes Back is in this race. Tarantino's in this race. So he comes back around and he gets the drop on him again. He's first. He takes the lead. He should have won this race, in my opinion. He just got out kicked in the stretch. Well, what happened was they bunched up 4 wide down the stretch, and he seemed more interested in a meet and greet with the other horses than trying to run past them. So I don't know what that means for this race for Express Train, but that trend is not encouraging to me, considering we're adding distance to it. But Union Rags, I mean, he's got more than enough average win distance to get her done. So I'll keep my eye on him. Number 2 is New King. This is a Bob Baffert trained horse. Mike Smith's gonna ride. Showing some ability. You can see he's kind of just getting a career started here in 23. Had to one race and then came back third in January of 24. Baffert, sometimes when he just puts them on the shelf when he doesn't like what he sees. So that's what he did. He came back all the way to December of just this last December and got that maiden for 39K. Then he went to optional claiming and kind of bounced a little bit here. But then the next race he come out, same conditions, and he ran a 103 with Juan Hernandez riding him. So Kimura, I don't know, Kimura's awesome. So I'm not really sure. I don't like Mike Smith aboard. I don't have a lot of confidence in that horse anyway, so we'll pass. Hit Show, Brad Cox reaping the benefits of this horse. Back in the day, what was it, the 2023 season, I do believe, he was on the Derby Trail and just didn't. This is picking up at the Belmont. But he was pretty solid. I forgot what he ran in the Derby. Obviously didn't win it, but he wasn't too awfully bad. But he did regress. He had trouble in the Oklahoma Derby. I forgot who won that one. But then he had some struggles. Cornhusker 7th. The Governor, then he got it back together here last August with the Governor and the Glucas, and he went on a flat roll. He tore it up right here. 3 straight triple digits in the grade 2, grade 3 company. Then he lost the Clark to Rattle and Roll and Most Wanted, which was still a good race by him. And then he bounced back off the little layoff, came into the grade 3 Louisiana and crushed it down the stretch. Now, I will caveat that by saying, I'll finish that thought down the road. As far as stretch drive and distance on the stretch drive goes, there's differences in different tracks. We'll go to JB Strikes Back, but he's definitely a top contender. But, one thing I did mention, Florent Geroux is not riding. Florent Geroux is probably going to be at Fairgrounds. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. So that's not too bad, 32% winner. Guess that'll be all right. JB Strikes Back is another one. Up and coming 4-year-old. Three straight wins, including that grade 2 Lafitte Pin Kai on Boxing Day. Big race at 16-1. I am a bit skeptical, but people could have been sleeping on him, repeating that performance from a long shot. But 16-1, I'm more talking about 30 to 50-1, like a big 50-1 bomb hits. Hard to repeat that kind of performance, but 16-1 means he just probably got overlooked in a good field. So he beat Tarantino, was in there. Early speed type, but he hasn't been 10 furlongs. He hasn't been a mile and a quarter. He's been a mile and a 16th, but he hasn't been that far. Average win distance, a little short. Golden Sense, I've mentioned before, Golden Sense more of a sprinter. of his own right. But Freeze you aboard, Doug O'Neill. It's not a bad horse, but it's not one I'm going to get to. Here's Miramati. This is Juan Hernandez, Bob Baffert. So anyway, was really highly touted down here as a juvenile. He had a really big run against Prince of Monaco in the Del Mar Futurity, and then he hit the board every race, and he couldn't get that maiden win. He just struggled to get it, and then finally he got it for 54K in October last year. So he comes into his 4-year-old year. That native diver, he was ranked. He got pulled up early. He was DFL. That you could draw a line through that. But then he bounced back in a big way. This wire to wire job, he was rolling at a mile. Well, he's 6.8 average win distance into mischief, strong pedigree. So if you think that he's ready to fire, you might get some good value on him. I'll tell you this: he fired off 3 straight bullet works, 6 furlongs and 111.80 on February 17th, and then the last one was 112 flat on Sunday. Right there. There's your bullets. So he's a horse I'm going to have some interest in. Here's Katona. Finally got the big win in the San Pascal. He'd been struggling since the second in the San Diego Handicap last year. So Doug O'Neill's got this one going. And he outlasted Express Train and Tarantino in the San Pascal. He was not up to the grade 1 competition, which this group is. You can see all the grade 1 events he tried in the summer, and he ran some good numbers, but he didn't have good finishes. He wasn't any match for these kind of horses. So I don't think I'll have any interest in him. The only time he's ever been 10 furlongs was the Pacific, way down here, and he did not fare well in that race. You can see. So now we got locked. Todd Pletcher. And listed as a closer. And I guess maybe I didn't pay attention to it. I was like, I don't remember him being any kind of closer. And I guess he kind of, I mean, like his maiden breaker here was not. He was just an early presser, EP, which is the Brisnet term. Then he was more of a P presser type, I feel like here, because once they start getting to the front at the stretch call, I don't think they're closers. In my opinion, I feel like closers hit the stretch with ground to make up, and then they make up that ground, but you've already made your ground when you hit the stretch. So that's kind of a stalker, in my opinion. People differ. Cigar Mile, same thing. He was all the way up to third by the second call. So he was pressing that pace, and he rallied down the stretch. Now, this one, he was a little further back. He got off slowly, though. His head was turned. You can see that head turned at the start, off a bit slow. So he was a little farther off the pace than he wanted to be. Fourth place at the stretch, but he did rally up for 6th. But he was absolutely no chance to catch White Barrio. He just ran down everybody else. We are adding blinkers on, so that's going to be Pletcher's fix for him being distracted out of the gate. And I had this written down. My note on him was, I'd like to see a more aggressive jockey ride him. Well, our wish has been granted. We get Jose Ortiz aboard, who's a bit more aggressive early on and a bit more, Velasquez is a patient, kind of savvy veteran rider. Jose is a little more aggressive, like his brother Irad. So I like this. I like the blinkers, 22% shipper. Everything's lining up for this gun runner colt to get after it and maybe establish himself after the poor outing. I call it a poor outing because I thought he was the one. He was a sub 2-1 favorite, so to speak, and he just didn't run well. I didn't think. He got second, but he was never in the race, in my opinion. So locked is locked. Now you have Midnight Mammoth, who's the 8th horse here. Backed up in the San Pascal, previously ran a big one in the grade 2 Cougar, but that Cougar was at 1.5 miles. You can see right there, he ran the 102. You have different pace scenarios in those 12 furlong marathons. They're a little bit more steady across the board. As you can see, 95, 195, instead of like the big numbers and then the drop, or the big numbers and then the drop, so things of that nature. But no thanks on this one. Round out the field with Tarantino. And Tarantino, quality horse. Inside number one post carried him down the stretch in the Pascal. When they were four wide, he just began to lose ground. He battled it out and maintained the show. Previous to that was second in the Lafitte Pinkai, and then the Native Diver, second as well to Skinner. So he ran against some good horses, but he is up against JB Strikes Back, who beat him, and Katona and Express Train, who beat him in the last race. Front runner on the outside, Peter Urton and Eddie Maldonado. It's going to be a tough one to get to. I really do like him. I might use him underneath, but I don't think if he goes to the lead, he's going to last the 12 or the 10 furlongs. So I think if he can somehow change the style and get back to this a little bit more pressing, like he did down here, then he might be better off. But that is your field for the 2025 Santa Anita Handicap. So 10 furlong race, and it is out of a chute. But it's still two turns. But they have to go out of a chute to get that added distance. So the other thing I wanted to mention was the stretch drive is under 1,000 feet, 990, I do believe. Gulfstream is similar. Gulfstream is even less than that. But like the tracks that Hit Show won on, like most recently Fairgrounds is like 1,300 feet is the stretch. Churchill Downs is 1,200 and change. A lot of them are right around 1,200, 1,100 and change. Keeneland, places like that. So there's only a few that have those short stretch drives like Santa Anita does. So that it does not bode well for closers. But I think with Jose aboard, I think he gets locked closer to the pace. And if he's up on him like he was in a Cigar Mile, he won't have any ground to make up. Now Hit Show's the same way. Hit Show does close a little more down the stretch. So he might have a little more trouble with that, but I think that they'll have the strategy worked out to cover that. So I'm going locked on top, but I like Miramati as a sleeper. I think we're going to get a max effort out of here. The jockey switch to Pratt shouldn't matter, but the past performance has showed a little different. Pratt's rode him one time and he did right, and he wasn't very good. But then, like Florence Rowe won all those races for him. Then Gaff Leone took them out. He ran third. Then he bounced right back and won. So Florence Rowe seems to have the best feel for Hit Show. I mean, but obviously Pratt is just like the best jockey in the country right now. So he's going to get bet down, which is going to make him likely an underlay or an overlay. Gosh, I always get those so confused. I have to look it up almost every time. Basically, his odds are going to be lower than they should be. He's going to get bet down. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Stay engaged. Get signed up. I want to start seeing some responses on there. Go click that description and check out that link. It's just a Google sheet. So it'll take you to a page where you just fill out a few details, an email address, your name, your preferred method of payment, and then some terms and conditions to view. So get signed up, and then before the contest, I just want to get an idea of how many people are going to get in this thing, because I don't know if it's going to be 7 people or 70 people or 170 people. I need to know. I need to get some kind of idea on what we're working with. So anybody watching the video still, hopefully you've already done that, but share the word. Get, repost my stuff on X. Follow me at Billy Ho Sports on X. But I am about done with this. So till next time, see you soon.